MJF's disappearance from AEW television isn't just another wrestling storyline. There's something bigger going on here, something that could change his entire career, because what started as a few weeks off to film a movie might just turn into the same path The Rock took decades ago, walking away from wrestling for Hollywood. And fans are starting to wonder if MJF has already made that decision. When MJF first vanished from AEW screens, people thought it was part of a storyline. Maybe he was selling an injury or building anticipation for a big return. But months have gone by, and there's been nothing. No promo, no update, no hint of when he's coming back. That silence started to worry fans, especially after reports surfaced that MJF was deep into filming his next big Hollywood role. And what those reports revealed might explain everything. According to new updates from inside sources, MJF has been filming Violent Night 2, the sequel to the 2022 action comedy that became a surprise hit. And that's not all. This comes after he already made waves in The Iron Claw, playing Lance Von Erich, and reportedly snagged a role in Happy Gilmore 2. These aren't small cameo appearances or quick paychecks. These are legitimate acting gigs, the kind of roles that make Hollywood take notice. And according to people close to the situation, MJF has fallen in love with acting. He's been telling friends how much he enjoys being on set, how the film industry challenges him in a new way, and how it might just be his next big move. That's where things start getting interesting, and maybe concerning for AEW fans, because the more MJF embraces Hollywood, the more distant a wrestling return becomes. Remember, this isn't the first time a top wrestler got the acting bug. The Rock did the same thing back in 2001. Right after becoming one of WWE's biggest stars, he dipped his toe into Hollywood with The Mummy Returns, then The Scorpion King, and before anyone realized it, he was gone. A full-blown movie star, barely seen in the ring for years. It took nearly a decade before The Rock made a real return. Could MJF be heading down that same road? There's one big clue that points to yes. When MJF re-signed with AEW, his new contract reportedly gave him a ton of creative freedom, including the ability to take time off for outside projects. He negotiated a deal where he could step away from AEW when he needed to, as long as it didn't completely derail major storylines. That's rare. Most wrestlers don't get that kind of flexibility. But MJF isn't just any wrestler. He's a once-in-a-generation performer, one of the best talkers in the business, and arguably AEW's biggest homegrown star. He knew his worth, and he played his cards perfectly. And that's exactly what he's doing now. MJF has always called himself a businessman first. He's not just chasing fame, he's chasing control. He's always said he wants to create moments, not just follow orders. Hollywood gives him something wrestling never fully could: global recognition, mainstream exposure, and financial security without the physical toll. When you think about it, it's hard to blame him. Why keep diving onto thumbtacks and concrete floors when you can make movie money from a comfortable trailer? Acting pays well, it's safer, and it opens doors that wrestling simply can't. Still, it's not just about money. There's another layer here: ego. MJF thrives on being the best, the biggest, the most talked about. In AEW, he's already proven that. He's carried the company on his back through feuds, promos, and pay-per-view moments that built the brand's identity. But in Hollywood, that's a new challenge. That's a new mountain to climb. And if you know MJF's personality, you know he can't resist a mountain like that. Now, here's where the rumors get darker. Some insiders are saying that MJF's cryptic final promo before disappearing wasn't just storyline hype. He ended that segment saying he wouldn't return until he was the most dangerous man in the business. At the time, everyone thought it was just character work. But looking back, it sounds more like a farewell, like he was closing a chapter and moving on to something else. Could that have been his goodbye message hidden in plain sight? The timing of everything lines up too perfectly. He lost a brutal match at All Out against Mark Briscoe, vanished immediately after, and then suddenly, his Hollywood schedule blew up. And while AEW has been quiet about his absence, they also haven't teased any storyline to bring him back. Usually, when a top star goes away, the company drops hints, teasers, maybe even subtle references to keep fans guessing. But this time, nothing. Complete radio silence. That's not a good sign. If you look at the AEW landscape right now, they could really use him. Ratings are steady, but fan engagement isn't what it used to be. MJF brought a kind of unpredictability that made every episode feel must. Without him, there's a noticeable hole both in the roster and in the storytelling. And yet, AEW seems content to let him stay gone. That says a lot. It suggests that Tony Khan might already know the truth, that MJF's Hollywood commitments are the priority now. The question becomes, how far does this go? Is this just a temporary break, or is MJF truly ready to move on from wrestling altogether? Some close sources believe he's using this time to test the waters, seeing if acting can give him the same adrenaline rush as performing in front of a live crowd. If it does, AEW might have to start planning for a future without him. And that's a tough pill to swallow, because MJF isn't just another star you can replace. He's the kind of personality that defines an era, There's also the reality that MJF's schedule was already light before this. Even when he was active in AEW, he worked a very part-time schedule compared to most. He'd cut promos, wrestle on pay-per-view, and then disappear again. That kind of setup already mirrors how part-time legends like The Rock and Cena operated before their Hollywood transitions. So maybe this was the plan all along, to slowly fade from the ring and build a career that extends beyond wrestling. If you pay attention to the pattern, it's clear MJF has been positioning himself for this. First came the acting classes years ago. Then came his interest in film production. Then his big AEW contract renegotiation, giving him control and time off. Every step has been deliberate. Every move has been calculated. And that's exactly what makes him dangerous. He's not acting on impulse. He's executing a long-term plan. But here's the twist. MJF might not be gone forever. Some believe this is a power play, a way to increase his leverage with AEW and keep his name relevant while he builds value outside the company. If that's the case, it's a brilliant move. The longer he stays away, the more anticipation builds for his return. The more fans want him back, the more valuable he becomes. He could walk back into AEW anytime he wants and immediately dominate the conversation. And that kind of power, that's priceless. Still, there's risk. Every day he spends away from the ring, the wrestling world moves forward. New stars rise. Fans shift focus. Momentum fades. The same thing happened to countless stars who took breaks too long and never recaptured the same fire when they returned. For MJF, that's the gamble. Can Hollywood truly replace what wrestling gave him? The live reaction, the storytelling, the connection with fans? Or will he eventually realize that the ring is where he belongs? That's the tension building right now. MJF is standing at a crossroads. On one side, Hollywood glitz, cameras, and endless opportunity. On the other, the brutal, unpredictable world of professional wrestling that made him who he is. If he stays too long in one, the door to the other might quietly close. The wrestling world has seen this movie before. The Hockey, Senna, Batista, all of them left for Hollywood. Some came back for special moments, but none returned the same. MJF might be the next in that line. Or he could surprise everyone by walking back through that AEW tunnel one night with the microphone in hand, ready to remind the world who really runs the business. But as of right now, his silence says everything. He's not rushing. He's not teasing. He's just living, and maybe, just maybe, that's the scariest part. Because when MJF finally decides what he wants, whether it's Hollywood, wrestling, or both, he's going to do it on his own terms. And when he does, the entire wrestling world will have to adjust. Whatever happens next. One thing's clear. MJF has already changed the game. Whether he's on screen, in the ring, or behind a camera, he knows how to keep everyone talking. And if he really has one foot out the AEW door, then fans might be witnessing the rise of wrestling's next megastar turned Hollywood icon. The only question left is, will he ever come back, or has the curtain quietly closed on MJF, the wrestler, forever?